What's good, peeps? It's Obley here. Today I'm bringing you another Deathbringer key. This time I've got the 4 set, so now there's some serious business about to go down. Yeah, I've got 4 set, I've got Cursed Stone Idol, and then I have a Slayer's Trinket, so nothing special. But I don't think I flashed my talents at the start here, annoyingly, but I will link my talents in the description below. But I wanted to get this key done as soon as the raid was finished because I wanted to show you guys how strong Deathbringer is in keys. It absolutely pumps. I think the last key I uploaded was Streets, and that was like 5 mil. But going into this, I'm going to open with ERW and then spend that proc and then do my Cursed Stone Idol. I knew I could move, and for some reason I didn't because I'm a silly sausage, and I just burst. And now I'm just back to back ERWing, Empowering Weaponing, so I can get those Killer Machine procs and always proc Bone Grinder. The best thing about having the 4 set now, even the 2 set to be honest, is the fact that you can pretty much always pop Reaper's Mark in a Bone Grinder window, and it's now your opener is the same every single time, as long as you've got 2 charges of Empowering Weapon for your breath windows, because those 3 charges that you get can guarantee you a 5 stack of Bone Grinder every single time because of the exterminates that you get from the tier set, which is super good. But I didn't actually use a potion on that pull. I wonder if I would have procced maybe like a nice 30 mil if I had. But now we're going to go into this next pack, and the only thing we've got is Pillar and Reaper. So I want to try and spend that as soon as possible to not have them desynced from breath for too long. So off we go. See, now I'm trying to build up that Bone Grinder stack. I'm getting close. It popped just before I could get the 5 stack, which is annoying. If I was a bit more prepared, if I had done a little bit more preparation, maybe waited for an Empowering Weapon, I could maybe have made that pop and we're doing more than we currently are now. But we are still absolutely slamming still. This is our 45-second burst window. With Deathbringer, you're so strong in your 45-second burst that you getting something like a double unused trinket is actually super decent. So like having a Nether Prism and having a Stone Idol is super cool. Like you can just let your Nether Prism stack, use your Stone Idol first, and then for the rest of the dungeon, for the rest of the raid, you're just alternating between those two. And your Nether Prism will always have a pretty good amount of stacks, and then you also have the freedom of waiting and doubling it up, maybe on the next Breath of Sindragosa cast instead, and doing like an 18 stack Nether Prism and then doing the Stone Idol afterwards. So pretty big if you can get some of that. But yeah, even our 45-second window is pretty good. At the end here, I deemed that everything was still quite healthy, so I thought it would definitely be worth doing a little breath window. And I mean, I got a full second pillar off as well, so I mean that's super worth. Looking at this next pack, you have a good 15 seconds until any sort of burst comes back online. Good thing about these divers, they only one of these divers, no matter how many pull, will cast a harpoon at one time. So that's pretty decent. They'll just wait for the other one to cast, and you can just tab target straight to that guy and interrupt them. So it makes this a really decent pull, really easy pull to do. So now I've got Pillar. I was able to get a nice Bone Grinder stack before Reaper's Mark went off, and then I wanted to spend my exterminates before the Bone Grinder buff was completely finished. Honestly, when it comes to Frost, you are tracking only one thing, and it's basically just Pillar and Bone Grinder. So 2 things. Apologies. Let's have a quick sip of my pre-pot, actually. Bash. Okay, so here, cooldown's coming back in 10. I'm most certainly going to send. The key thing about Mythic Plus is to sending your cooldowns as much as possible, getting as many casts as possible, because it's so beneficial when it comes to AoE damage, especially Frost DK. So now I'm looking right. I have no Empowering Weapon charges. I can't really start myself on more of a front foot than now. It was fine because I already had 3 stacks of Bone Grinder going into this. So it's ideal burst. So much so that I rip aggro from the contractor. But I like to focus as a surveyor because I have CBA to tab target to do any sort of control. But realistically, on higher keys, you would want to send all your damage into the Shrednators because they have more health. We have a little bit more priority target damage, especially with Deathbringer, because you get the Rhyme priority damage and you also get the Wave of Souls. It's literally like 3% damage increase. But it's, even though this is just a +10, we're getting the... even though, now, because it's a +10, we're getting the Orbs. And the Orbs give loads of haste this week. As Deathbringer, you prefer Crit Mastery, but haste is still good as a Frost DK, so it's a welcome. It's a welcome buff. I'm not fucking crying about that. But you see that 2 target cleave just there with just Pillar. We were peaking. Was that like 8-9 mil? I don't know. I don't think it was quite 9 mil, but I think we were definitely above 8 mil there. And that's without breath. Imagine with breath. Our 2-target cleave isn't really anything tremendous. It's not fantastic. Get ready for some fucking bombage. Yeah, nice. Good job, Wobbly. Well done. So yeah, especially after your burst is done, it's not great. I think Sandlane probably has a better deal doing 2-target cleave with the fucking old 4 set. I've seen actually the rank 1 plus 10 DK log for Operation Floodgate is 9 mil, and it's a Sandlane DK with the old set on, and then it goes like it's like 9 mil, and then it drops instantly to 8 million. So I'm up there, but right. So also as well, I wasn't in comms with these guys. These are my guildies. Shout out to my guild. But I could have definitely done better, I think, with some better cooldown usage. I mean, I think I was at the end. There is we have to go back for count, and at the end of the if we hadn't have done that, like I was sitting at like 8.25, 8.5 mil overall, something like that. It's crazy. Deathbringer is pumping, especially in Floodgate, because Floodgate is actually the dungeon where you get the most amount of damage. I think it's then Streets is the dungeon where you get the least amount of damage. So if your overall is like 5 mil in Streets, don't be disheartened, because that's very, very normal for Streets keys. If your overall is like 8 mil in Priory or Operation Floodgate, then that's good. If it's 7 mil, that's normal. But if it's 5 mil, then there's something wrong. Alright, so you saw that Bowling God X right there, just get the bombs. But the main key when it's 2 targets is obviously there's no Death and Decay now, so the only thing you can do is just single target. Now there's an argument to be made that Frost Scythe is decent to use on 2-target cleave during burst. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's like a DPS net neutral, but they both cost the same. There's almost no difference in it. But then it is just a bit of a mental game. It's like, can you be asked to remember that? If not, if you stick to obliterating your single target, then it's fair. But also priority damage by changing to or by staying on obliterate and 2-target cleave. Whether or not you care about that in 2-target cleave, I don't know. But I've got all my cooldowns here. I didn't actually know who was going to grip this. If I did, I would have saved my crit for there. I also didn't know that we'd pulled that little RPG guy in the back. I was literally just too focused on doing some serious damn, and then the healer died. Shout out to the healer. He knows who he is. This is a nice little pack. We were pumping here. Obviously, DPS looks better. Like, it will peak more if we didn't sort of like mess around with the mobs at the start. This is the thing. This is the thing that actually kind of winds me up. People will be like,
I did like 30 million damage on the first pull of Operation Mechagon, and you, on some random midway pull that's been going on for already 1 minute, you only peaked 16 million at that point. I must be better than you.
and you're just like, do you even know how DPS works, you freak? Anyway, sorry. Moving on. That was a good pull. Finishing the pull. It's not about the damage you peak at. It's the damage you finish at. That's where you can get cock out. All right. This is weird. I hate when it does the invisible thing. Kind of annoys me. Makes me think that we've reset the boss. So I have no cooldowns for this, which is fine because I believe I'm going to get my cooldowns back during the damage burst phase. But I would realistically have liked to have them now. So it would have been ideal if we'd have done 1 pack beforehand, because then I could have just sent like a pillar on that one little small pack and then done this with like burst and everything. But it is what it is. Not an ish. I've got all my DPS now, so I'm probably gonna send it. I'm literally doing tank damage without my cooldowns in AoE, which is great, because you don't have things like Remorseless Winter until you have your cooldowns. Like Remorseless Winter in Mythic Plus is a good source of damage, especially AoE damage, but you're holding pillar, so you're holding your AoE damage. That's a bit fucking shit. But anyway, I sent everything now because I was pretty confident that everything would be dead, and I'd still have some of my pillar and breath window for the damage amp phase. Oh, how wrong I was! Oh, how wrong I was! I have it literally finished the second the damage amp came. All my bursts finished. Nice job, Obley. I'm not even expecting to AMZ now either because I can hate my healers. Alright, so you can do a little bit of funnel by picking up those adds to the side. Not that we need it, because we've got some serious funnel with these mecha drones anyway. But we have our cooldowns. I'm definitely going to descend. Now, we want these mecha drones to kind of stack with us, but they're not, which is pissing me off. And then I end up getting aggro as well. In a minute, you'll see me ping because I'm frantically trying to get the tank to get this off of me. But I don't think he knows. It's fine. It's not his fault. I'm just doing too much damn. But the boss is literally almost dead. We've got the Devaboker and DH absolutely slamming. But I will have all my cooldowns for the next sort of damage amp phase, which is good. And I'm going to send it there. So at this point I was debating, right, I have two options. Either I just send Pillar and DB, because that's still a good amount of damage. Pillar and DB, and when you play DB, is very nice damage. Breath single target is obviously good, it's fine, like it's not bad. But would that have been better used on the next pack after this? I mean, because I used it early, at least that's some kind of, I might have a chance of getting it back if it takes a while pulling this next pull, but probably won't. So I'm pretty much just going to have Pillar and Reaper. If I didn't cast Breath there, maybe the boss would have survived for a couple extra seconds, and I could have guaranteed having my full big burst on this next window. But that's a decision that you make in the moment that you. It's difficult to tell. Oh, someone pulled. Oh, hello. A bit of lag there. Sorry, watching a VOD. This is how I normally do my my log review. My VOD reviews is I just fucking play them and then just record like I would record a normal video. Don't know why that lagged out. Anyway, so I didn't even realise that we'd pulled the loader bots at the time. I knew it. I know it now, but at the time I didn't even realise we'd pulled those. So I would have maybe saved my cooldowns for then. But also, it's good to just you want to get it. You want to sync your Pillar and your Reaper's Mark, because you want to end the dungeon with as many casts of each as possible. Obviously, because you macro it together, it's not very often that you need to worry about desyncing them. But I have Reaper on my bars because I am always worried that the macros don't actually press them, because it happens more often than not. And this is why I almost never suggest macros. And people ask, what macro should I use? I don't bother using any, because I've had more times where the macro has not worked and it's interrupted my flow, and I've had to do something to catch up because I pressed the button and Reaper didn't go off, something like this. I'm a spammer, right? I spam my buttons, and if Reaper doesn't go off because I'm spamming something else, and like my burst goes off early because I want to press Reaper's Mark next, it's shit. It's not ideal. I have to play a different way to what I'm used to. And that would be more of a DPS downgrade than casting Reaper's Mark 0.1 second later. So, anyway, big burst coming up. I have all my cooldowns. I'm super excited for this one. I think I'm peaking some decent damage here. Everything's dead. And it's a good thing that I did as well, because I think the other two had their cooldowns for the pack prior. I didn't. So that means that these guys are not going to survive for the rest of time. I didn't hit that. Someone else hit that. I didn't hit that. Fine, doesn't matter. We still move. Now for this next pack, by the time everything gets grouped together, I'll have Pillar, I'll have the Deathbringer. So that'll be good. So as soon as that comes out, I'm focusing on just getting shitloads of Killer Machine procs. You'll see here, I've only got one stack of Bone Grinder, which is going to fall off. Instantly get whacked. But I spent that Empowering Weapon pretty much straight away to try and get myself 5 stacks, and I wasn't quite successful in getting that, getting it done in time. But we still did a decent amount of damage. If you don't get the Reaper's Mark explosion within Bone Grinder, at least the Exterminates will be. But it's a lot of damage, Reaper's Mark, so you do want that to get buffed by 20%. Crazy. Alright, so now we just have a pure single target fight. How will DB in an AoE spec fare in pure single target? This bit needs to hurry up. Like, there's too much RP here. Fuck it. We have another drink, why not? Rip Swamp. No. Rip Bubbles. Right, so opening straight up with my trinkets. What I like to do, to be fair, I found a bit more of a rhythm for it, but what I like to do is I like to do my Empowering weapon first, and while everything has got that half GCD, then cast my trinket, because then I'm not really sacrificing any time because I can't press anything anyway. So then I do my trinket, which takes only 1 second, reduced by haste. To actually proc. Is that reduced by haste actually? Am I lying through my teeth maybe? And then I'm straight into, so I go Empower Rune Weapon, Trinket, into Obliterate, and then into Full Burst with Reaper's Mark and everything. It's lovely. So it actually works really nicely. I'm not sacrificing any of my GCD for it, essentially. Maybe a little bit. But we're doing okay single target damage right now. We're about to get our second burst, a little smaller burst window going. So this will run straight back up. You see we're at 4.3 now. And we're going to head up. Oh shit, he pulls me. I'm never one to shy away from being pulled off. DPS, anyway, moving on, DPS. Yeah, so we're just keeping like a nice steady 4.4 mil and single target with our Pillar and Reaper, and as soon as that dropped off, we dropped down to about 4.2, and now we're at 4 mil. We do have our big burst coming up soon, and this is where the single target should come out to play, because we have our breath. Breath is very good priority damage. Now here, I'm thinking, fucking hell, all of these things are going to go off. And 2 of them do, which is shit, because this is just when I'm going to burst, so my burst is now going to be 20% worse. Great. That's my fault. I could have done something for it, but... So, I mean, you'll see the damage at the overall, but it's we have a few times where we have like damage reduced mobs. So I mean, the DPS could be more. Also, you could say that the haste is massively increasing my DPS. You could say we've got like a permanent lust, which is kind of true. We do have lust. We do have the affix for basically like 50% of the dungeon. But I'm literally DB, mate. Haste is not my best stat. But at the end of this at the end of this boss, we do finish top. Now, that's not exactly single target damage that's like super impressive, but at least we're top. That's the main thing. Probably win every time. Anyway, so we've got small burst now because we spent our big burst on the boss, which was the right thing to do, I think, in my opinion, because we're going to have breath for the next pack. Now, we're going to be missing count a little bit as well when we go into the next pack, which is kind of annoying. But I think if this last leg was handled a little bit better, if we did a bit better pulls, we could easily have seen like an 8.5 mil overall, like 9 mil overall. 9 mil's pushing it. 9 mil's pushing it. 8.5 mil. I don't know what I'm saying. Don't know what I'm coping there. 8.5 mil. Fuck that. Alright, so even with just our 45-second burst, we're doing top damage, and it's topped by a fairly decent amount.
It's no 30 million first pull, Cinder Burrito-y.
Like, fuck off. It's not one of those, but still it's good. Quick pack, quickly dead. I'd like to start doing some 12s to get some real sort of like difficulty in this bitch. And then also, I feel like 12s would be a really good place for Unholy to shine, because Unholy can then get it and start ramping up. Because as Deathbringer, all of your damage is up front. All of your damage is very bursty. Favours the lower keys a little bit. But also, when it comes to lower keys versus higher keys, you do just do more damage in higher keys, because you're fighting more targets more often, and you get 2 bursts. Because most packs will last first burst, so like 45-second burst, and then that burst will come back again at the end of the pack, which you send as well. So because higher keys last for longer, more health, more bursts, more DPS. Lower keys, it's not really the case, because lower keys like this, you only get half a burst. This next pack, when I go into it, I'm going to have no burst. Unless this takes really long. I've forgotten if it does or not. But you super low keys, fair enough. Because you do your burst, then you stop. And then you do your burst, then you stop. But it's very unlikely that that's the case. I mean, actually, this turned out really nicely for us. But the worst thing you can do for the damage is have your burst and then do all of the damage after your burst as well, up until you get it back. Because that is when you're doing the least amount of damage, which drops your DPS and drops your overall. Literally counting overalls in a +10. What the fuck, dude? I need to get a life. I need to go outside. Man's just been on holiday, and now he's talking about doing maximizing overall DPS and keys. What a lovely life. Anyway, moving on. So this 2-target cleave here, like you can't do anything special. You just basically just do single target rotation. Like, it's not great. And the DPS gain from doing Frost Scythe in Pillar, there is basically none. Like, you put it in the comments. Shouldn't you be doing that? You can put it in the comments. But if you actually look at the damage that's actually done on the dummies, you're talking like 100k DPS, 100k actual damage done, the difference, not DPS. Right, so this is such a sick boss because we have 2 abilities that can completely negate some abilities, some nasty debuffs, nasty abilities that the boss will cast onto us, and I think that's super sick. So you have like AMS, and then you have Iceman Fortitude for the targeted orbs, which means you never again have to run away. You can always just sit there and soak it. But look at that for some single target burst damage right there. With no lust as well. We are absolutely creaming. We must have got a lucky Reaper's Mark proc. Lucky little crit. Actually should have been able to see that. Okay, so here we go. This is run at IBF, and I just soak it. Doesn't even do that much damage, man. You can just walk straight into it and you're all good. So now, don't have to move. We were proccing Bone Grinder. That was ideal proccage. You have 4 stacks, go straight in, proc it straight away, start bursting, spend the ERWs, get the exterminates done as soon as possible within our burst window, and we're game. And now, what I like to do is try and make sure that all of my Empower Room weapons are spent by the end of Pillar. And even if that means that it comes back and my last GTD, the last tiny thing that I can do is spend Empower Room weapon, I do that because it makes your next killing machine free, even after the Pillar window. So it's definitely worth doing, 100%, just to get that off. Because if you're going to cast it later on, or if you're going to cast it 2 globals before, you may as well have it free, rather than wait for it for the most ideal time and it costs you 2 runes. Right, so you see I just did that little AMS. I'm going to quickly just hop into that orb, I think. There we go, soak that bad boy. And the best thing about this is it means that like our cooldowns line up with that phase so much. And normally you have to just sit there and just hold your cooldowns and wait to the right time. Now you send your cooldowns all the time as long as you keep your defenses for it, and you'll never have to worry. So you do. It does mean that you have nothing for this, but I mean, look at me. I had 1 little Lich Spawn and we're completely fine. There's no issues. So you see the overall DPS at the moment. We're looking pretty decent, like 8.2 mil. That's actually big. I mean, the recorded logs at the moment, it's like 8 mil is top DPS, but we missed a mob. So that overall damage is about to plummet. But if we went off of this and actually pulled correctly, we'd be sitting at some of the highest DPS that's been recorded for Floodgate 10 at the moment. You have the best DPS in the world doing it at like 9 mil for Unholy Sand Lane. And I've got no cooldowns. I've got no cooldowns for this as well, so I can't even help that. It's fucking shit. But it just goes to show that DB is fucking pumping. Whether or not Ryder would have done that, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't care. I think Ryder is a fucking shit spec. I mean, there's so many reports of the Ryder AI being terrible. Like, that in itself is a horrible DPS downgrade. But we finished this dungeon on a respectable 8 million overall, playing Deathbringer. I'm by far means am I BIS geared yet. Weapon is still quite bad. It's just a 701 on hero track weapon. And then we get a sub at the end. So fucking up the boy. Beast. Thank you, Centauro93. This is a post recording, so I forgot that was even in the video. But yeah, so am I going to show the breakdown? Probably not. But yeah, that was the DB key. Thank you for being a part of the journey. Leave comments in the comment section down below on what you think of Frost Deathbringer at the moment. What do you want to see? What do you want to see from the channel? See me play some Unholy or something like that. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me out. We've got 5.5 thousand of you boys. It's been a very good year doing these videos for you guys, and I can't wait to do many more. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.